Hi, I'm Chris Kellner. I'm a cerebrovascular endovascular neurosurgeon here at Mount Sinai. My practice is about 50-50 elective and emergency cases. The emergency cases are some of my favorite cases. Thrombectomy, for example, is a very fulfilling procedure. Often patients will get better right away. The procedure is done awake, and so sometimes a patient will have a deficit. You'll perform the thrombectomy. You'll see them improve on the table, and it's very satisfying to be able to walk out and talk to a family after their relative has already improved. Moments after the procedure, it's just one of the best moments. I also do minimally invasive ICH evacuation, which also has been very fulfilling. Patients do sometimes get better immediately after that procedure as well, although not as frequently as with thrombectomy. But that is an area where not a lot of people are doing that. And under well-designed research studies, we are able to really figure out the best way to do that procedure, the patients who respond the best to it. And all of that is happening now. And it's been very exciting to be on the front lines of that avenue of research. I grew up in Boston, Massachusetts. I went to Harvard undergrad. I came to New York for medical school, where I went to Columbia. It was at Columbia that I met some of my mentors in neurosurgery, and I really solidified my concept of what kind of neurosurgeon I wanted to become, that I wanted to be a clinician scientist. Dr. Connolly at Columbia was one of my mentors, and he showed me that it was possible to have a very busy and engaged clinical practice, while also running a highly successful and legitimate basic science lab. And so having the ability to perform surgeries while also engaging in high quality research, I saw as what I wanted to do in my own career. And I also met Dr. Mako when I was at Columbia. I was a medical student. He was a chief resident. And I remember being impressed with his high level of engagement and his passion to his patients and his research when he was a chief resident. Years later, when I was applying to fellowship, I got to know his research and his practice style more thoroughly, and decided I wanted to do my endovascular training with him, and came here to Mount Sinai, where I also worked with Dr. Betterson and Berenstein and DeLacy and Fifi, and then eventually joined the team here. And I could not be happier with the decision I made to come here. It was not long ago I was in your shoes and I was evaluating a myriad of institutions. And it's very challenging to be able to see what will be important for you years down the road when you're finally emerging from residency. And it's very hard to evaluate an institution with only a few hours over a Zoom call or in a remote environment. So, I think I got lucky, honestly. I went with my gut to stay here. And the reasons I did that were because I saw from the top down, there was a real sense of engagement in mentorship and a dedication to the success of the trainees, whether the residents or the fellows or the early career attendings. And that is extremely important. That example is not everywhere. And I really feel like Mount Sinai, because of that environment, is a unique and magical place. This is a place where you have the resources to succeed in really whatever you declare as your interest. Residents in the past, for example, Kurt Yeager, chief resident right now, wanted to engage in innovation while also doing an endovascular fellowship. And so he worked with the endovascular team and the residency to develop a mixed fellowship in which he was a biodesign fellow, where he was developing an endovascular device, and he was also simultaneously doing his endovascular fellowship, which is just, a unique opportunity that I couldn't even imagine thinking about that when I was kind of slogging through residency, to kind of have the wherewithal to develop that kind of a mixed experience that appeared to be highly fruitful and just kind of unique. So to have the opportunity to do something like that, for me in my own career so far, I have benefited greatly from the mentorship of Dr. Betterson and Dr. Mako and others, and the system that they've built here, which is focused on the trainees and the early career attendings succeeding. And to be specific, to give you some examples, I had an idea for a registry when I was a fellow. And so I met with a research team, which is a clinical research juggernaut with dozens of people who are dedicated to developing the research careers of the residents and the fellows and attendings here in the neurosurgery department specifically. I've never seen anything like that in other institutions. They are professionals. They know how to write IRBs. They know how to negotiate contracts. They know how to run FDA studies. They know how to write patents. To learn how to do these things at a professional level is really a unique, and I don't think you can find that in many places. To have the ability to suggest a study and to have the resources kind of whipped up around you and guide you through that process of developing your research idea into a protocol that is done with the research, with the clinical research integrity necessary to succeed. And then to have the resources to start that. You can't get grants often without pilot data. And to get pilot data, you need some resources to kickstart that project. And with the machinery already in place here and humming at full speed, the resources are there to get the pilot data, to get the grants. And I see our own residents now succeeding in their research projects by tapping into that machinery. And I certainly did tap into it when I was a fellow, and develop my research project that then I was able to get pilot data for, and then get funded by a company to run this multi-center study, which is now just starting in my 4th year as an attending. Kind of after developing this avenue of research over many years, we just got the contracts, this week actually, for this one project I'm referring to, which is a clot collection registry. It's been a real roller coaster of a ride, and I could not have done it without the professional support network here to kind of guide me through each of the steps. That's one example, and there are many. To give you another example of the unique system here, it really comes from a sense of innovation and a stress on innovation, really from the top down. And Dr. Betterson will talk, I'm sure, a little bit about Sinai Biodesign. We've heard of Stanford Biodesign. I'm sure everyone here has heard about that. But Sinai Biodesign is unique in that it focuses on device development, and the group is entirely within neurosurgery. They do work with faculty from other departments, but they are focused and dedicated to the faculty and the trainees here in the neurosurgery department. And so right after my fellowship in my first year of being an attending, another attending and I had an idea for a device to aid in minimally invasive ICH evacuation, not to do the evacuation itself, but to help protect the cavity after the evacuation. And so we got excited, wrote down our ideas, and developed what we thought were some drawings that would become the patent. And we didn't really know anything about patents. All we knew is we thought we had a great idea. So we went to the team in biodesign and worked with them, and they dramatically helped and dramatically improved the concept that we had, to the point where we then did submit a patent, and that is in the works. And then we did make a prototype with their help. We did submit an NIH grant, and then we just recently started doing animal experiments related to that procedure and that device. So that's something that I just could not have done by myself, kind of doing all this, in the afternoons or late evenings. It really takes a team of experienced people to do something like that in a professional manner and to succeed with it, especially when you're doing a lot of clinical cases. You really need a strong support network and experts to kind of help you along the way with something like that. And that is unique to this place, where you've got the resources, and not only that, but the encouragement to utilize them, and the time carved out for you to do that. It's very special. So I look forward to meeting all of you in the interview day, and hearing about your endeavors